Meeting da, Otoma Arta Kroeder Kroghen. Yes, Kroeder Kroghen is back, after a gap of some weeks since John King was taken ill just before Christmas. Unfortunately, John is still under doctor's orders to take it easy, but the programme will now be continuing with a group of new presenters and interviewers from the Cornish Language Board. To start off the new Kroeder Kroghen this week, we'll be bringing you some local music from Cornish speaker Julia Allard. But first, we thought it would be appropriate to speak to the programme's founder, John King himself. I went to visit him at his home, and I began by saying, "Glad to see you, how's things?" Or, in Cornish, "Pur dda yw gennych dda weles, fad le gennych ydw?"
En gol a pwynt gomor a syrth am glyfa milwyth gweld am e am gorust yn meddec hag efem ros pistic morphine gylwel yn car-clafgy hag ddydyn fi yn intensive care in Clafgy West.
So this is all very sudden and very unexpected, but you think the recovery is complete now, do you?
Well, der hevel lemon and my puptrol da yw da, der hevel ninjas travis sinisful ninjas damage with den golan hihonen hagath am glua for milwyth gwel mire golas tam poster a ris president Kelly's moy.
Right, so they will tell you to lose weight, don't they? Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's splendid news. Your Kroeder Kroghen programme has been off the air for a few weeks now, and we're hoping to re-establish it. It seems to have been very successful in the past and very popular with listeners.
Oh,
can you attribute that to anything in particular?
Well, ninja fi sure, mae tesyn y thio wosbos Kroeder Kroghen pubsaethan cymysg a datlo, cymysg da a Kernewek, hag a Saesneg, hag a ilo, ha papris pup traen o yw ber, ha miari perthi cof, a byp hynny naili cyfeddys yn ta, an peth o ergausis.
So you think the mixture of being some Cornish and some English, a short slot of this, and makes it interesting to everybody. Have you had much interest from people who don't know any Cornish from the programme in the past?
Yeah, ni fynnyd gi martesyn daleth dysgu Kernewek, mes pyrddau gi clywys yn ieith cawsys der yn radio. Hag yn werth I lefer I a garsa clywys Kernewek cawsys mwy. Lefar o pyrfer mytyn with pup presenter po den warm radio, ail gi lefero mytyn da martesyn Chris
Blount.
Chris Blount I'll lever mytyn da trwyth you. Han 2-0 I'll gi martesyn gil definite ag Kernewek tam.
So the response has been very favourable for the language, and people would like to hear more common expressions, little short phrases here and there, repeated so they get to learn them.
Yeah, I agree.
Finally, John, what do you think the programme should continue in its present way, or do you think we could improve it?
Well, mere white, a fear da martesyn bos nevis hera, han martesyn yn wedd a fear da gul trawethio taplo hera ha moi gomplec in Kernewek, rag Kernewek yn dda ha ffraith.
So perhaps you'd like to lengthen the programme. I don't know how that would go down with the listeners, and occasionally to have a longer, more deep Cornish section for more fluent people in the language.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, that's fine. Well, unwaith arta da yw the weles yn iechys mor dda, ag ni await clywys a leith arta Kensbury Bell.
We might ask these.
Maraz John King. That was John King talking to me at his house in Camborne. I'm sure you'll join me in wishing John a complete and speedy recovery. One of the things we want to do in Kroeder Kroghen is to bring you examples of the work of contemporary Cornish musicians, both in Cornish and English. Next, we're going to hear from one of those people, Julia Allard from Perranwell. Julia is a fluent Cornish speaker involved in many aspects of the work of the language. I thought it was rather strange then that she should choose to sing us a song she has written in English, called The Strange Meeting. I asked her why this particular song was in English. Praga Hrista Skrifa yn Ganma yn Saesneg.
Wel, in wir Graham and Gerio ddeitha fi in Saesneg. Mar tyfo yn gario in Kernewek, mi ra sgrifo yn can in Kernewek, mes mar tyfo yn zi in Saesneg, well, mi ra sgrifo in Saesneg.
So you write according to what the first phrase or two comes into your mind. If it's in English, you write the song in English, and if it's in Cornish, you carry on in that way.
Yeah, ni garma trelia, di war theme tavas than tavas.
Very briefly, what's the song about?
Well, in my henwethel, in kever estra na ddeith the gurno nanzu lias bleven, di worth an est. Hag I hanno o Joseph Arimathea, a ganzo theri noi, evo serpran and gorhol. Agan canna you in kever and dainioink na, agan vetchis gans net floch, agan do gervis war barth war ols, hag an floch a gevranasi flocholis gans an estran, hag an estran a rosy venath and floch, ha the gurno.
So the song is based on the legend of the story found in many parts of the Cornish coast, that Jesus, as a child, did in fact come to Cornwall with his uncle on a tin trading mission.
Yeah. And did you walk these hills of mine, and watch the sunrise on the sea, and skim your pebbles on the waves that flow eternally? The wind blew blackly from the east, no shelter gave to man nor beast. It ripped the clouds and seared the skies and tore the waves in fury. And in this hell a boat there came from land unknown without a name, seeking shelter from the storm under St. Anthony. Oh, I am come a merchant man, seeking shelter in your land. My name is Joseph, and this man is my nephew, my carpenter. How blue his eyes, how green his eyes, how dark his eyes, how grey, like the faces of the sea in June or dark December. We walked next day, that man and me. We skimmed our pebbles on the sea. He shared with me his 30 years. I shared with him my childhood. Oh, there will come the day, he said, when they will place about my head a crown of tears, and I shall be deserted by my kindred. But unto you, you child of man, although you know not who I am, I give my blessing for all time unto your land so green and warm. And then he knelt upon the strand and placed a pebble in my hand. It lay there, black obsidian, a pebble cruciform. Oh, I will walk these hills of pine and watch the sunrise on your sea, and skim my pebbles on the waves for all eternity.
Strange Meeting, a song from Julia Allard, one of many Cornish musicians we hope to be hearing from in the future. One of the roles of Kroeder Kroghen is to bring you details of coming events of special interest to Cornish speakers. It's been a long time since the last Kroeder Kroghen diary, and it's encouraging to see that it's as full as ever. Although, Otoma and Deifliver. First, on Thursday, March the 2nd, De Yo and Nessa Mismirth, Cornwall Pan-Celtic will be choosing a song to represent Cornwall at the Celtivision Song Contest in Killarney in May. The competition will be at the Penbenton Hotel, Redruth, starting at 7 p.m. On the following evening, at 7:30 at the Cornish Centre at Cusgarn, Andrew George will be giving a talk entitled Does the Cornish village have a future? If you'd like more information on that, you can call Loveday Jenkin on Truro 864157. Next, some dates concerning Cornwall's third Eisteddfod, or Eisteddfod, which starts next weekend and lasts for a fortnight. De Sadorn and Pedwara Mismirth, on Saturday, March the 4th, there will be a Gorseth proclamation at midday, the 108th, at High Cross outside the cathedral in Truro. A fine opportunity for people to see the bards in their ceremonial robes in the centre of the city. On Sunday the 5th, Daigul St. Piran's Day, there will be a procession of Cornish organisations, complete with banners and flags, through the streets of Truro. This will assemble at St. George's Road from 2 p.m. onwards and ends at Croseuchel, High Cross. Come along and bring your St. Piran's flag. Immediately after that, at Pernzabulo Church at 3:30, the 5th Gornis Eglos in Yaith Kernewek, there will be a church service in Cornish. These are just some of the many events taking place as part of the Eisteddfod. There are far too many to give you full details here, but if you want to know more, get in touch with the Truro Information Bureau. And with that, let me say, Du Genewchi. Goodbye for now.